So here we are in sunny Margate to test one of the most pocketable cameras around, the Ricoh GR IIIx. So it's basically an APS-C censored compact camera with a 40mm equivalent lens. Technically, it is a 26.1mm lens, but with the APS-C conversion, it equates to about a 40mm. It has a maximum shutter speed of 1/4000th of a second at most apertures, but it is limited to 1/2.5 thousandths of a second when you're shooting at f2.8. And lastly, it has 24 megapixels, which is pretty much in line with most cameras of this type. So what's so good about a 40mm? Well, the previous Ricoh GR models have always used a 28mm equivalent lens, even the ones from the film days. So 40mm sits somewhere in between 35 and 50mm. So what does that mean for you? Well, a 28mm is great because it's super wide, but sometimes things can just be a little bit too far away. For example, the tidal pool here when you're walking along the promenade can be a little bit far away to frame it how you want to frame it with a 28mm. So the 40mm lens just brings everything a little bit closer to you. Now you might argue that it might not be wide enough for general purpose photography, but I actually think that it strikes a very, very good balance for all purpose photography. Even fully open at f2.8, it is super sharp, really contrasty, but more importantly, really organic. What I've loved about the Ricoh series is that the images always look sharp, but also organic. They don't look overly sharp or synthetic. They look very real. And that is something that is true across the aperture range on these cameras. Portability. As you may have noticed, I'm actually able to take this camera out of pretty much any pocket on my outfit today. And I think that's one of the biggest boons about this camera. It's the fact that it's just so unobtrusive. You can pretty much put it anywhere. So if you're a bit worried about where you are and you don't want to have your camera out, you can literally conceal it in such an easy way. By the lanyard, around your neck, underneath your jacket, anywhere you want to put it, this camera will go in. And I think that's what makes it awesome. It just literally fits into anyone's camera bag. So if you do kind of want to bring your big camera as well, because that's what you're used to, this is something that you can just include very, very easily. And I think that is what makes it amazing. One of the really great things about the GR IIIx is the built-in ND filter. Now, as you can see, there's no obvious way to actually mount an ND filter to this camera, and even if there was, it would probably be a little bit awkward. So having a built-in ND filter means that you can control the look of your images by being able to shoot at any aperture you like. It doesn't matter what the conditions are. Obviously today it's not particularly sunny, but it is still daylight. So if I wanted to keep my camera at ISO 400, for example, but I wanted to shoot at f2.8 to control the look of my images and the amount of defocus that I get, I can do that. And I think it's fantastic to have this inbuilt into the camera. So we just had the opportunity to film with a lovely colleague called Sunny. He was very rambunctious. But we shot Sunny mainly to test the autofocus tracking on the camera. And I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. It was actually really good. On the half press, it's actually able to track the dog moving through the frame in a really, really convincing way. The dog was kind of a bit all over the place. It wasn't kind of going on one plane. It was coming in and out and behind me. But I was actually amazed as to how good the camera was at tracking its entire kind of body. So it wasn't really focusing on its eye and its face. This camera is not going to be as good as a larger camera, a more advanced camera that is more suited to shooting fast-moving wildlife, but I was actually pretty impressed. There are scenarios in a town like Margate, for example, with the birds, dogs in the beach, even people, that tracking will become very, very handy. And I think for those type of situations, it is pretty good. It has a function that's amazing. It's called snap focus, and you can basically preset 1 meter, 1.5 meters, 3 meters, I think it's 5 meters and then infinity. So what it means is that when you power up the camera, it knows the distance that you've preset, so it's ready to go. So you're no risk of the focus hunting to where you want to take your shot. It's ready to go. So if you're shooting at very small apertures like f8, f11, it means that depth of field is not really an issue. So it means that you're not really going to lose your shot, which is awesome when you're doing a bit of street photography. Bang, ready to go. I love that. I'll never ever get tired of that with the Ricoh, the quick startup speed. But I digress. We're not here to do that now. We're actually here at the iconic Margate Lido sign, one of my favorite spots in Margate, to actually do a bit of an ISO test. As you can probably see, it's actually quite dark. And I think, to be honest with you, when it comes to ISO, rarely will you actually be shooting at 3200, 6400 when it's daylight. You know, traditionally you'll shoot it when light is at a premium, which it is now. And you can actually see as to kind of where the shadows block up as you increase that ISO. So we're going to go on a tripod and test the ISO performance from ISO 100 all the way up to, I would say, about 6400 and see how we fare. We're actually going to leave the aperture at f2.8, which is the lens's widest aperture, just for the sake of time, just so we're not running really long exposures when we're running those really low ISO levels. So we're largely going to control shutter speed and ISO. Obviously, as we increase the ISO, the shutter speed will change as the exposure changes. But this is a strict ISO test. We want to see how the ISO affects the image, especially in those darker areas. As you can see, there's a bit of light in the foreground there, so we're hoping it's not going to affect things too much there. But we're expecting maybe for the image to change somewhat in the sky. So let's get to it. So IBIS is an extremely useful technology. Basically, think of it as a gimbal that is effectively holding the sensor, trying to counter the shake that's coming from your hand. Now, the reason why it's really helpful is you don't want to get your tripod out every single time you want to take a shot when light is at a premium. So being able to run exposures of a quarter, half a second, or even 2 seconds is extremely helpful when you don't want to keep taking your tripod out, especially tonight when it's particularly cold. The Ricoh has 3-axis image stabilization, and that translates to about 3 stops. So like, what does that really mean? The way that I normally work with image stabilization is I go 1 for 1 with whatever focal length lens I have. So for example, the Ricoh has a 40mm equivalent lens. I would say that the minimum shutter speed that I would run without IBIS is 1/40th. So basically anything below that, I think, is being helped by IBIS. So we're going to see how far down below 1/40th we can go until we start getting shake. Let's try it. So one of the interesting things about this camera that I think whenever I hold it, I kind of forget is just how much it packs in terms of usability and controllability within a tiny little package. It effectively works like any other camera. However, because of its size, it means that some of the buttons at the back can feel a little cramped. So sometimes when you're pressing a button, you're actually getting very close to pressing another that you might not want to. However, for every bad thing that you have, such as that, you can also see that it's a good thing because it means that everything is fully accessible at the back. So your thumb really doesn't have to move very far to access controls that you would probably need to use on a daily basis when you're shooting with this camera. So kind of a negative, but also a positive. So let's talk a little bit about film presets. I see them as a way of monitoring your images. I think trying to enjoy your shooting experience by having your images as you review them on the rear screen as close to your edits as they can be, I think makes your shooting experience a little bit more fun. But also, they're great for people that just want to shoot JPEG. So the Ricoh GR IIIx has fantastic connectivity to your smartphone as well as via Bluetooth. So if you wanted to send JPEGs straight to your phone, you can do that very easily. But in terms of the film presets in themselves, you have tons of customization. You can customize things like shadow tone, highlight tone, contrast, saturation, and sharpness. So you can get those JPEGs for monitoring to look as close to your final edits as possible. So let's talk a bit about the elephant in the room, the lack of an eye viewfinder. So obviously with this camera, due to its form factor, it means that whenever you frame up, you're doing it via the rear LCD, which by the way is 3 inches and touchscreen and very, very good. It's very responsive when you want to focus, or you can allow the camera to actually choose your focus as well. However, that is pretty much the only way that you would frame your shots, and not everyone likes to do that. I'm quite a traditionalist. I do like to bring a camera to my eye, but more importantly, there are certain atmospheric conditions that will make that quite challenging. If it's extremely bright outside, sometimes it can actually create like a bit of a wash on the camera, which means that you might struggle to frame or even actually expose your shot correctly. However, you can actually dial in exposure compensation to know that you're exposed correctly, and then you can actually get this natty little accessory, which is made by Ricoh, which is an external viewfinder. So it means that when you have the camera set up and ready to shoot, you can actually use this and bring it to your eye and shoot in a more traditional fashion. Perfect every time. So owing to the form factor of the camera, it means that the battery that powers it up is quite small. Now, what that means is that the camera is rated to about 150 to 200 shots per single charge. Is that a problem? I'm not sure. I don't think it is. Whenever I use a camera, I always take at least 2 batteries with me, sometimes 3. Could you get away with 1 battery in a single charge with this camera shooting on a day like today for a few hours? I think you probably could. But if you were to choose to have a second battery, they're relatively inexpensive, and it means that you do have that peace of mind that you won't run out of power when you're actually shooting. So how do I feel about the GR IIIx? I adore it, and I love it much in the same way that I love the original GR3. But this 40mm lens just makes things a little bit easier to shoot, just more attainable, things are a bit closer. Sure, there are things that are a bit of a compromise. You know, I don't have a way to frame in a more traditional way by putting the camera to my eye. But because it's so tiny and it has so much functionality, all of those benefits far outweigh any negatives the camera might have. It's tiny, it's ready to shoot when you are. It is just an absolutely awesome camera.